So though we're well underway into the Apple Silicon transition, sometimes you still need to run logic in Rosetta, whether that's a plugin not behaving properly or something that's just not been updated yet. Sometimes you may just get better performance that way. And if you need to know how to do that, this quick tip covers how.
Finder, Applications.
Here I am in Finder and I'm in my Applications folder. If you don't know how to get to your Applications folder, once you're in Finder, just press Command-Shift-A and that will open your Applications folder. And I'll just type
Logic Pro App, Application.
Really quickly to jump to Logic. I just pressed LO on the keyboard. You can just use the up and down arrows to get to Logic as well. But now once you have Logic selected, what you want to do is press Command-I to open the Get Info dialog.
Logic Pro App, Image.
And you want to look for the Run in Rosetta mode.
Logic Pro App 1.80 Modify January Tag Editor General Kind Application Size 1 billion Where Macintosh Created January Modify January Version 10 points Copyright Open using Rosetta Uncheck checkbox.
There we go. Open using Rosetta. So if you check this,
check Open using
and then close
window.
That dialog. When you open Logic,
Open Selection Logic Pro Window Version 10.7.72 Space Rosetta Button has keyboard focus.
You see it says Rosetta at the end of the window title, and that's how you know you're running Logic in Rosetta mode. Now, let's say you want to switch it back and turn off Rosetta mode so it runs natively again. I'm going to Command Q to quit Logic here.
Finder, Applications window, Logic Pro App, Application.
You want to go back into your Applications folder, find a Logic application, Command-I.
Logic Pro App, Image.
And
Logic 1 point modify app 1 where Mac create version 10 point copyright open using Rosetta checkbox.
You want to uncheck
open using Rosetta checkbox.
Open using Rosetta and Command W to close that.
Window list.
And then when you open Logic,
open selection Logic Pro window version 10 point.
It goes back to its normal behavior. So that is how you can run Logic in Rosetta mode should you need to. So now let's talk about Rosetta mode and what it is. So when Apple transitioned the Mac over to run on Apple Silicon instead of using Intel processors, they coded the OS and all the Apple apps to run natively on Apple Silicon. That means apps like Logic run natively on Apple Silicon. They don't need to do any translation. Translation is where you get into older apps that have not been converted over to run natively on Apple Silicon. They're still made to run on the Intel processors. And what happens is, under the hood, it translates any of the instructions that were being sent to the Intel processor that the Intel processor would have been able to understand and execute on into instructions that the Apple Silicon processors can understand and execute on. Now, Apple have done it in a way where they say that using Rosetta means that you'll see the same performance, if not faster performance, than you saw using an Intel processor. But if you can run natively on Apple Silicon, you can see improved performance. Now it takes time for all the different developers of software out there to convert their apps over. Some things are simpler than others. Some developers may have different timelines. They had new products they're working on before they could go back and translate the older products to native Apple Silicon products, etc. So Apple has given us Rosetta so that you as the end user have a way to use all the apps that you're already used to using on Intel on your Apple Silicon Mac. So switching to an Apple Silicon Mac should work seamlessly for the most part. So that's pretty much what Rosetta mode is. So while Logic is running natively on Apple Silicon, some of your plugins may not be Apple Silicon ready yet, and while they can be translated, sometimes they just don't work as well, or you just may get better performance in Rosetta mode. Now, this technique that we talked about in this tutorial can be used with other apps. It's the same way you run any other app in Rosetta mode if you needed to. So this tip can be useful for more than just Logic. If you found this helpful and useful, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe both to the YouTube channel and to the blog found at logic.band. If you love to support what logic.band is doing, become a member at logic.band/member or send us a donation by visiting logic.band/support. If you'd love to get some one-on-one training, visit logic.band/training. And as always, until next time, happy recording.